Oscar-nominated actress Amanda Seyfried stars and produced The Dropout, premiering March 3rd on Hulu. I'll be honest, I was skeptical at first because Holmes is such a well-known figure, but wow, Seyfried is thrilling as Holmes, losing herself in this role while also bringing to life a person we think we know, but how much do we really know? Taking on a character like that probably is like daunting for you, I would imagine. What inspired you to jump onto something like this?
You said like having, the audience has all that information, but I have all that information.
Yeah.
So it's like, who cares what the audience has? I'm getting all this information and I'm a mimic. I'm an actor. I'm not her clone.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be her clone. I'm portraying an essence and trying to get the physical stuff right and very truthful and believable. But the trick is always to get the audience to believe that you are her, like very soon into the show. Mm-hmm. And then they forget about what she really looks like. But it was so much fun. I mean, it was so much more fun than this getting to know Marion Davies, because I didn't have that much. I had like barely anything. I didn't have anything of her in her real life.
Yeah.
But with Elizabeth, I had 10 hours of depositions.
Yeah.
I had the interviews with the Maria Shriver, the one on stage for I forget what it was for, Vogue maybe, or Vanity Fair. And then I had the one when kind of after things had come crashing down and she was like, I was devastated, it's devastated. And it's like, what do you do with it? It feels like candy, and it feels like you've just dropped into something that if you spend enough time in that hole, mm-hmm. you can't help but come out changed. It made such an impact. And I, for 3 months, because I did have 3 months before I went to LA to do pre-production, I just listened. I would just have it sitting there and I'd just be listening to it over and over again. And it was the kind of homework that I wish I had in high school. Like I hated everything I had to do to study, but this was different. It's like all of a sudden I became this eager college student.
Yeah.
And it was really fun, not to take away how hard it was, and scary it was, but it was joyful at times. And then I got to, in the first episode, do the deposition stuff and stuff that I've been like, this is what I've been studying for this whole time. Like I can actually mimic this scene. And I've never gotten that before. I've never gotten to do, I slightly in Lovelace, slightly.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. I mean, but it's also, she's under the microscope.
Mm-hmm.
She was then, riveting.
Yeah.
This genius, this baby genius who came out of the woodwork and could possibly save the world. And then her fall from grace. And it's troubling at times to remember that it's all real.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that, one of the things that I think stood out for me, of course, the first thing that people think about, I think now, because probably the press, is the voice, is, that voice and the change in the voice over time, which I think you do perfectly in the show. But also, I think it's like, I think marginalized people in general can relate to that whole, you have to change your demeanor in order to be taken seriously in those settings. You know what I mean? You have to change how you present yourself. When I saw all this stuff with Elizabeth Holmes, I realized like, oh, well, that's why. I get why the voice changed. Like, I get it, but people make such a big deal about it. Was the voice in particular like something that maybe stressed you out about getting this part down? Because it seems like there's so much that people talk about the voice.
Yeah, that's the only thing that you hear about. Yeah, how did you do her voice? It was very clear off the bat when I started talking to Michael Showalter and Liz Merriweather. We talked about it, and it's going to have to be one of those things where we can't worry so much about it. We have to get it deep. I can't sound like me.
Yeah. I'm
not going to sound like me. Her affect or whatever, her accent, the roundedness of her, I can't really describe it, but her mouth is shaped differently, and she speaks from a different place in her mouth, I guess, and maybe that's an accent or a regional accent, maybe, or maybe that's an affect, whatever it is. There's no judgment. I'm going to try to mimic it.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the depth, because there were two parts to her voice, we're just going to go try different, modulate it, just try different levels. And I worked with my singing coach with it, just to make sure I because I have a pretty high voice.
Yeah.
Mine is a slightly above average. We talked to a body language expert, and Elizabeth's is at like not decibel. I don't remember what the measurement of it was, but hers was like at 190 or 180 something.
Interesting.
And mine was like 230 or, it's just like an average female voice, rests at this level, and I'm a little bit up and she's much further down. And it's like we collectively judged her for bringing her voice down as if she's lying to us. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing, you're not being untruthful because you're deepening your voice and you're speaking down here or however low, but it's obviously feels like it's very hard for her. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's not. It seems painful at times, and it seems ridiculous at times. And that's sounds like a judgmental way of putting it, but she needed to do what she needed to do. Look where she got.
Yeah.
Look who she got behind her.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just the fact that she was charismatic and a genius.
Yeah.
And ambitious and just incredible to behold.
Yeah.
It was that she had to, present herself in a specific way. Mm-hmm. It's not that she thought she did. She kind of did.
Yeah. And how many people have to do that just like her? How many people have to play that role in not as intense settings, obviously, but like.
And you don't fault them for that.
Exactly.
In order to get ahead as a woman, you do have to, people have had to make a lot of sacrifices. Yeah. And so in terms of the voice, it's like, no one's ever going to stop talking about the voice, and God knows what critics or whatever cares, like what they're going to say about my take on the voice, my version of the voice. But I did what I needed to do to make it work for me, to make it feel real. And I had a lot of really smart, creative people around me to help us, find whatever it is we needed to find in order to tell the story.
And it really was natural. I mean, I the way it flowed into her discovering that voice as the panic of the moment. I mean, it was really an organic process. I was surprised, and I pleasantly surprised.
Good. That are you talking about in the?
Yeah, when she was in, not the hotel, but she was with the juice thing, and she was having the mayor moment, and she was having and the Don moment, and like all those little moments where the voice was sort of being practiced. I feel like I do that on like the phone sometimes, where I'm having like where you practice those little moments of, I'm going to be taken seriously here. Of course, I don't use that voice if I want to be taken seriously, but you know what I mean. Like you do that.
Absolutely, we have. The one thing that was really important for this show, of course, because what's the point of making it, is to find her in her moments alone.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what she does alone. I would love to know what she does when she's brushing her teeth. And you know what I mean? I mean, wouldn't we all, about anybody who's fascinating to us? Mm-hmm. And we did. That was the most important thing for me about this portrayal and this story, is like what might have been going on for her. And so they're beautifully written, and they did feel very organic. And I'm sorry, but like we've all been there.
Yeah.
I mean, I feed the big animals in the morning usually, and so when I'm out doing the hay with you bring the gator out to the back, and you put the hay on both sides of the paddocks, and like there's like big animals over here, and meaning like donkeys and horses and stuff. And I set my phone up right against one of the hay bales while I'm like, putting the hay back, and I would just, even for like 10 minutes, just stand there, because I had my coffee and the gator and my dog and whatever. And so I have some time there, and I would just practice every day. And then I would send Michael Showalter videos of me trying to sell hay as her. And I'd be trying to, like, as if I'm in a TED talk and I'm trying to explain to you why this bale of hay is better than that bale of hay. And like, because I was trying so desperately, and I don't know if I did, to understand the modulation and understand which words and how rehearsed certain things were to make the most impact. Because I've never been a speaker. I don't know how to sell things. I'm not a businesswoman, but she is. And like, the more I did that, the more I understood, like, this was like life and death for her.
Yeah.
And then I had a journey myself through those 3 months, like doing what I'm doing and making it kind of fuse it into my life a little bit, as much as a joke trying to sell hay, but it's like
I'm sure he bought that hay.
Michael never bought any hay.
I will say about
he realized he didn't need it.
About Michael and about I was taken by the sensory things, because I feel like, I mean, you and I are the same age, and I the time period of Elizabeth Holmes and this whole story, she's also around our age, I think. And,
yes, they're a year older.
Yeah, and the sensory things within the timeline of this story was so jarring for me, because it was the music I was listening to, the bad dancing, no offense, but Elizabeth Holmes, it seemed, even in that one 2020 thing I saw, she wasn't a great dancer, which is I relate to that. And the dancing in the film, there are so many like sensory things that pull you into the story, but are also kind of funny sometimes. Like, awkwardly funny sometimes, which I think is probably Michael Showalter's doing, but he was one of 3 directors on the project, right?
Yeah. This was Liz Merriweather. I mean, I'm going to give him credit his direction was incredible.
Yeah.
But like the weird, awkward, very realistic, but also tragically funny things.
Yeah.
I mean, the things, the actual narration and the direction in the scripts were very specific.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to give myself credit for some edging on some of it, but it was really just like her brain. I mean, her brain works like that.
Yeah.
And this is the music she listened to too. And this is like some of the things she did. Like she and Elizabeth Holmes, our version of Elizabeth Holmes, they're very similar. I mean, like she was the best. She was the best person to create this world.
And we all know someone like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, it's me too. Yeah. It's in me. I have in my room dancing. Like, God, no, like no one should see that. And no one should be privy to what happened in that bedroom in that first episode. Like, it's so uncomfortable, but it is absolutely relatable and it's tragic and hilarious. And Liz and Michael are really good at doing that. I mean, you've seen her stuff and his. I mean, you know that they're like.
They're geniuses at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They make the uncomfortable very relatable, which
very relatable and funny.
Yeah.
It's not, again, like no judgment.
But it doesn't take away from the seriousness of the story either, which I think is so genius about this project in particular. And that's something that another thing that struck me is I followed this story, I guess, over the podcast and the news and stuff. Like I followed it, and I'm a big sort of news junkie person. Obviously, I work at Newsweek. Of course I am. And I feel like I'm a smart person, and I never really understood what was happening with this story. You know what I mean? Like I never really got what was going on. I was like, what did she do that was bad again? I'm confused. And
honestly, I didn't know either.
Yeah.
Even after the scripts.
But the show really helps me understand. Like I feel like I get it now, which did you get that too? Like, did you feel like this really laid it out in a really clean way?
Like layman's terms.
Yeah.
We didn't get that from anything.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit from the Dropout podcast. I for sure understand so much of what happened in the trial because of the Dropout podcast, the trial series or season 2. And I think when I was reading the scripts, I'm like, I'm still unsure. Like by the time I got to episode 6, I'm like, I'm still unsure of what exactly she's going down for. and that's good because I'm playing her still,
Yeah.
But I also wish I had a little bit more understanding and I would ask some what I consider stupid questions. I mean, there are no stupid questions.
Yeah.
So I'm going to teach my kids, but it did feel, it felt like I was still a little bit at sea when I was reading the scripts for the first time.
Yeah.
But you talk to enough people by the time you're on set, you're like, oh, she shouldn't have done that. But you're like, what's the harm? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, totally. But you do have that because there is that
empathetic.
There is that sort of like, I mean, I guess it's kind of like it's not new, but the whole like fake it till you make it kind of thing, and that sort of Silicon Valley, like, you just have to be showing how great you are all the time, and that stress to be like that, and the fact that she idolized, Steve Jobs and like, Mark Zuckerberg, and she would quote these people, and you really felt it. So on some level, like, that helped me understand what she did, I guess.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to get her out of her zone. I mean, she was very passionate and very ambitious and very, like, it was not all for nothing. She truly believed she was going to get there. I believe that. And then she couldn't get out of the I can only think of like a toboggan chute,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know why, but she couldn't get out of it. She was going too fast, and she could have gotten out of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's that's why I think the trial, it took a while. I don't know. I just think it's a gray area. It's nuanced in a lot of ways, and in a lot of ways it's very black and white. And I think everybody's going to have differing opinions by the time that they're finished with the show. And the whole point is to show the spectrum, and to show, things that happened that, weren't discussed at length in all the, like, the projects. And you kind of want to get to know her and have some compassion for where she came from, and just, I don't know, dig in a little deeper on her, because when I did all that stuff too. I watched The Inventor, and I listened to the podcast, and I saw the 2020 episodes and the interviews before I even knew about this project. And I thought, like, okay, I have an idea about this person. She's fascinating. Okay, cool. And now I'm like, and then this project came along. It's like, let's get to the why. Let's get to the how, and open things up for discussion.
Well, I have one last question for you, and then I'll let you go. So the musical theater nerds out there, I have to ask this for them. So you are obviously associated with some great musicals, and it's coming up on the 10-year anniversary of Les Mis, which is, like, very exciting. And I think a lot of people want to see you in another musical ASAP.
I do too. I really thought that was, I really thought that that's what I was going to be doing this year.
Oh, really?
Sadly, yeah. What I'm doing is, I think my next job seems like it's like a dream come true. But I will sing until I'm dead. I take voice lessons twice a week with my same voice coach since Les Mis, and I'll get there. I have been, there are always things that come up, and you kind of work with them a little bit, and then they don't happen. And then they, someone, producer or director, is like, hey, what about, remember that? And you think, oh yeah, but I will.
That's exciting.
Mamma Mia
3. Oh, you should do, what would be like a musical that you would, like a musical character that you're obsessed with that you would love to do?
I always wanted to sing Ava Cassidy songs. Ooh. Because her life was just so short. And I mean, I know someone was writing a script about it, and I don't know what happened to it, but it was another one of those projects. Like, it should be, nobody really knows enough about her. And then she died tragically. And it was like, she had the most beautiful voice, and she did the most beautiful covers, and she had the most beautiful songs. And it's, I don't know. I would want to play like I don't know. I would want to play a, folk singer. Patty Griffin ever did a movie about her. I don't know if, there's little biopics happening all the time. Patty Griffin's my best, her voice is my best friend. And, she knows that. And I every time she's around, I go see her concerts, but, I would love to sing Patty Griffin, but I would also I love singing.
Yeah. I can't wait for more of it. Everyone is
I really.
Well,
there's always musicals. Always musicals. Even though nobody goes to see them.
I do.
There's always musicals. Yes, exactly.
I will go in a hazmat suit during COVID just to see a musical in a theater.
Oh, wait, I know.
Yeah.
I know what I just considered the other day. I was watching Encanto.
Oh.
It is the most beautiful thing. And I think Lin-Manuel, and Tick, Tick, Boom, I think Lin-Manuel is the greatest gift to musical theater, to music everywhere, to children of our generation. I think children, hopefully, if he continues making things for them, for all of us, really. And this generation of children are going to be so much more emotionally intelligent than anybody. And every time I watch Moana, and I know a girl of the eye.
I can't.
I cry. And like
Yes.
my daughter always like, why are you crying? And then the grandmother at the end, she's like, not some gift, just you. It's like
tears, just endless buckets of tears.
Kids don't cry. It's us who cry.
Yeah, because we have the life experience where we know that, things are short and like, it's just too much. Coco.
And because we also know how special this is.
Yes.
Like, I don't cry at the end of Little Mermaid.
No.
I love Little Mermaid, but I don't cry.
No, but these are things you cry at. Yeah, just I can't. Encanto, there was one, Onward, which is not one that I would normally cry. And it wasn't even a musical, but I was bawling at the end of it. I was bawling. And Coco, of course. I mean, that one I can't.
Oh my God. Wait, did you see Abominable?
Yes.
Oh. I mean, but it's because of that fucking instrument that I'm like, oh my God.
It's too much. And it's the slow, like, sort of like creep in on you that gets you and then it hits you. I can't. The music. It's just too. I'm not even a music person. I mean, I am a musical person, but I'm not a music person. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, people ask me, like, oh, what's your favorite band or whatever? And I'm like, I don't know. Disney? I don't know.
Alan Menken.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the best.
They're the best.
I mean, sorry, Alan, but like, Lin-Manuel's here. You guys got to work together.
Do something.
Alan and Lin just together.
Jump on a
sorry, I had to go into that
because
it's like it's taking over my life right now. Not some gift, just.
There's so much. We could do this all day. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to do.
Thank you so much.